Welcome in to the Punt and Pass podcast. I'm your host, Drew Butler, joined alongside by my co-host, Jake Fromm. Be sure to follow us on social media. We are at Punt and Pass on X and Instagram. I'm at Drew Butler. He's at From Jake, puntandpass.com, and the Punt and Pass YouTube channel. Check us out, youtube.com/punt and pass. Well, Jake, the college football season has officially come to an end. That's right. We are recording this on a Tuesday morning as the college football playoff national championship game wrapped up on Monday night. And yes, indeed, the Indiana Hoosiers are your national champions. They defeat Miami 27-21 to finish the season 16-0, the first time ever in college football playoff history that a team has finished 16-0. They were undefeated. They're national champs. They're Big Ten champs. They have a Heisman Trophy winner at the quarterback position with Fernando Mendoza. We've got so much to break down. We're going to talk about the game, all the storylines coming out of it. How are you, my man?
Man, doing great. Cannot believe college football is finally over. We did get a really, really awesome game. Actually expected a little bit more out of Indiana, but man, kudos to Miami. Man, they came out swinging. Four-quarter matchup came down the last drive. I just don't think you could ask for anything more out of this national championship game and really out of college football as a whole. So I think I think the better team won the national championship this year. And I think Indiana has cemented themselves as one of the greatest of all time teams to do it, man. Going 16-0, I think in today's landscape, it's just a really, really big deal and something that I don't think you can take lightly and for granted.
Did you see the quote from Steve Sarkisian earlier on this season or maybe in the preseason? It might even have been at SEC Media Days. And now it was circulating all last night and today because he made kind of an offhand statement saying, listen, if any team goes 16-0 in this new day and age of college football, build them a statue. Build them a statue. And Indiana, of course, has done that. It was a great game. I was a little bit surprised at the grit Miami showed. I mean, it was looking pretty iffy there at halftime. They couldn't get anything going on offense. Boom, Mark Fletcher breaks off the big run earlier on in the third quarter, and then it was on. I was also surprised, Jake, at the physicality of the game. I mean, those dudes were popping on the lines of scrimmage. Running backs running super hard as well. So we're going to dive into all that. We got so much to talk about. I'm watching my TV screen right now. I mean, weather forecasters are acting like it's going to be an apocalyptic event here in Atlanta over the weekend. Are you aware of what's going on here with this potential ice storm?
I was not until I got to the office this morning, and we have this kind of big event early next week. And they're like, man, this thing may get canceled because nobody may be able to get to the office. So I had no idea about it, but I'll definitely check in and get educated on what may or may not go down this weekend as far as this kind of weather event going on. Global warming's happening, but I feel like the summers are hotter, but somehow the winters are colder. I don't know.
It's cold right now in Atlanta. There's no doubt about it. But what they're saying Atlanta might get, obviously a lot of our listeners are in the Georgia area, but mostly in the Southeast. Some areas north could get absolutely pounded with snow. I mean, they're talking about Nashville potentially getting like 16 inches of snow. I just checked my iPhone. It says we might get 4 to 5 inches of snow on Sunday, but a significant ice event in Atlanta, which, of course, I don't care where you live. If you get a serious ice storm, whether it be in the Northeast, the Midwest, or down here, down South, it could get pretty iffy. So we'll see how it shakes out. But, man, these weather people are taking it very, very seriously right now. So be safe out there, folks. Be safe. There's no doubt about it. Hey, if you are locked inside all weekend, there will be plenty of sports on. Hopefully you'll have power to watch those sports. And that's why you need the Prize Picks app. That's right. This episode of Punt and Pass presented to you by our awesome partners over at Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code PUNT. And when you play your first $5 entry, you instantly get $50 into your account, win or lose. It is the best daily fantasy platform in the world. Prize Picks has been a longtime partner of the Punt and Pass podcast. That's why they're giving you $50 instantly when you play your first $5 entry. All you got to do is pick 2 or more players, predict that they will go more or less than their stat projection, and watch the winnings roll in. Prize Picks is the best. Promo code PUNT. Check them out online, prizepicks.com and at Prize Picks on social media. Today's episode of Punt Pass is brought to you by Humberto Injury Law. If you've been hurt in an accident and need a team that fights for you like we fight on the field, Humberto Injury Law is here for you. Humberto and his team know what it takes to win, and they'll stand by your side every step of the way. Visit HumbertoInjuryLaw.com to learn more or call them 24/7 at 770-888-8901. That's 770-888-8901, HumbertoInjuryLaw.com. Yeah, man, if it's that cold, I mean, it's cold right now on a Tuesday. It's supposed to get really cold this weekend. Throw on that Backer warm one. It's worth it. No question about it. Check out Backer, bckr.com, on social media at BCKR_HQ. They got the warm one. They got the dry one. They got the cool one. They got the heated hats. All officially licensed Georgia gear. Backer is the best. Proud partner of the podcast as well. What do you say, Jake?
Yeah, throw on the warm one definitely this weekend. And I was an absolute golf sicko on, I don't know, Drew, if you remember, we talked about it on the last podcast. Hey, I may go hit golf balls. I was that guy. I went and hit golf balls. I threw on the warm one, and I hit probably 150 range balls, 40-degree weather, 20 plus mile an hour winds. I just had to do it. So, but I threw on the warm one. I was good to go. Had to.
You had your Mura clubs in hand. How do they perform in the elements?
I did pretty good. So I got a long way to go myself as a golfer, but I cannot blame the equipment anymore. No. So it's all on me.
No, not at all. Not when you go to True Spec Golf in Atlanta and get custom fit for your Mura irons and wedges, the best on the market, MuraGolf.com. If you want a promo code, they got everything over there: clubs, accessories, gear, golf bags, hats, clothes. They've got it all. MuraGolf.com. Hit us up for an awesome promo code. All right, let's talk about this game. Indiana defeats Miami 27-21. The Hoosiers are national champions. Oh, wow. I was listening to radio this morning. I think it was national radio, and somebody just said, Indiana all season long just always made the play that they needed to make, and it was no different on Monday night. The Fernando Mendoza 4th down goal line run for a touchdown, the Charlie Becker back shoulder 4th down conversion, the block punt that ends up being a touchdown for Indiana, getting off the field when Miami had any sense of hope on the offensive side of the ball. Indiana just found ways to win. Jake, when I watched that game, I just thought, man, these guys have some innate ability to just make it happen, and they were always in control of that game. Miami definitely put a little scare into them late, but they were always in control, and you got to give credit from the top down. I mean, Curt Cignetti, what a phenomenal year for him. Fernando Mendoza, what a baller. Their defense was flying around, man. Their running backs were toting the rock. The receivers were catching the ball. It was just a complete performance. Special team steps up, and boom, they're national champions.
Yeah, just a couple off the rip, just early observations that I think to talk about. I think during the game, you could tell the refs wanted the guys to play it out, man. There were a lot of grabs out on the perimeter. They let the DBs get away with a lot. Ton of physicality in the game, like you mentioned. I thought Fernando Mendoza's toughness really showed up in this game because he was getting blistered over and over and over again. Miami's front seven, they are the real deal. Indiana had a real issue at right tackle. Just felt like Fernando Mendoza couldn't quite be himself because of lack of time and uncomfortability in the pocket. So we never really got to see Indiana like push the ball down the field all that often. And kind of their only throwing answer was just throwing these back shoulder balls. Charlie Becker, I don't really know a ton about this young man, but I know an NFL GM and head coach are going to take a chance on this kid.
No question.
I mean, just his story. He's 6'4". He runs 22 miles per hour. Hadn't dropped a ball all season long. Was a special teams guy. I think this is like he could definitely end up in Detroit for sure.
Yeah.
He's a really good football player. Miami's really good on the front. This game came down to mistakes. I thought Indiana made less mistakes. The punt block being the biggest one. Man, when you block a punt in these big time games, especially for a touchdown, that is just so hard to overcome. But another observation for me, I thought both teams really bought into the idea of playing physical and trying to set the tone at the line of scrimmage, running the football. Both teams leaned very heavily on their run game. Indiana had that two-headed monster back there. Miami with Mark Fletcher Jr. I mean, it was just about it. And you really didn't get the quarterback battle that you may have wanted, or the shootout. There was an opportunity for Carson to go down and win the game there. It didn't happen. But yeah, man, as far as a college football matchup, I thought it went really well. One thing I will say, this may be a hot take. Okay.
Hit me.
Curt Cignetti, for all the things that he's done coaching wise, I think he's a phenomenal talent evaluator. I think you have to give him all the praises for that. But I thought there were a couple of times in the game where I didn't think they managed the game the correct way.
Okay.
Exhibit A being right before halftime. I just thought that whole situation was mismanaged. I mean, they had like 22 seconds left. I thought they could have tried to push the ball down the field. They kind of played
they had
conservative, not to lose.
Yep.
They run the ball. They kind of spent some time calling a timeout to say, what are we going to do here? I thought the Hail Mary was premature. Miami gave a look that was very soft on the outside, and I thought they could have pitched and catched and thrown a 10-yard stop route or a quick
They had a
out.
timeout as well.
And they had a timeout as well.
With a timeout, yeah. To
and
get into field goal range.
And I thought they could have thrown a little pitch and catch there, got down, called a timeout, and then gave themselves more options. Either one, kick a field goal, or take a much closer attempt for a Hail Mary. But I don't know, they didn't do it. And then the play that everybody remembers is the 4th and 5 QB draw with Mendoza. That was kind of almost a botchy situation. If Fernando didn't make that play, everybody's going to be looking like, man, what are we doing here? You didn't kick a field goal. You send the field goal unit on. You call it deburn, a wasted timeout.
Yep.
But just kind of made up for it, and everybody's going to forget about
4th and 5,
that.
right? So obviously Fernando Mendoza scores the touchdown. He had gotten the first down. It's going to be a historic play in Indiana football history. That play is going to be played all the time. That and the interception. You mentioned one thing that I have written down in my notes. There were virtually no pass interference calls last night. And you know what? You know how much I love to absolutely dog officials. If they're going to go into the game and just say, hey, we're going to let them play, and they're consistent with it for all 60 minutes, I'm okay with it. I mean, because the precedent was set pretty early. And on some of those replays, you're like, dude, that's 100% a pass interference.
Oh, yeah.
And they just weren't throwing flags.
Yeah. Or call the roughing the passer for Carson and not for a couple of the, for Fernando, especially at the beginning of the game. Now, there were
when Mendoza got popped, that should have been a personal foul.
Okay, so that is actually one I disagree with.
Really?
Because if you're carrying out your fake and you were simulating being a runner, obviously he didn't have the ball.
Yeah, Matt Austin made it clear he is not defenseless in that moment.
He's not defenseless in that moment. And so now, is it kind of a cheap shot? Did the guy know what he was doing, trying to hit him in the chin? Yes, he did. But that one's tough for me to kind of argue and fight for, because I've been there in those situations where I'm carrying out a fake and I get blistered, and the ref goes like, hey, man, you got to give yourself up. It's kind of the give and the take there of, hey, I'm not going to carry out my fake and protect myself, but also I may be hurting the team in some regard. Am I not pulling a safety? So that's tough. And Fernando, he's doing the things right. He's playing the position the right way by carrying out his fake. He gets absolutely blistered for it.
No, you're exactly right. He took a beating all game long. And Holly Rowe in the post game, first thing she said was, show everybody your arm. I mean, his throwing arm was just absolutely jacked up. He was on the ground for a lot of the game. I'm okay, 100% okay, with everybody making the argument that Indiana just had one of the greatest seasons of all time in college football. I'm okay. I'll listen to the argument. Was this one of the greatest college football teams of all time? What they did in the playoffs, simply phenomenal. However, the reason why I think that argument is okay to have, Jake, is because Indiana, historically, one of the worst college football programs in the history of the game. I think they have the most losses in all of college football history. What Curt Cignetti's done there in just 2 years is simply remarkable, right? It's absolutely
it's context.
Insane.
Yeah, it's context. It's context on the situation. If this had been Alabama or you can compare it to 2019 LSU
Sure,
or
2021
Georgia.
Georgia, 2022
Yeah.
Georgia. Yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of like, sure. It was a good football team. The perfect season by Alabama during the COVID year. That one's kind of iffy. That one kind of gets washed a little bit. But man, what they where they were and what they were able to become in such a short amount of time.
Yes.
I like that is just special to me. And
so can I give you more context?
I would love it. I did cut you off. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, because what you're saying just continues to provide me the opportunity to give everybody these statistics. It comes from an ESPN.com article I read right before we started recording. Now, you're talking about how quick this turnaround was. Yes, of course, 2 years of Curt Cignetti. But what I think is most important is the decades-long losing, consistent losing from Indiana. So when Miami won their first national title in 1983, Indiana was 3-8 that season. In 1984, Indiana was 0-11. When one of the greatest teams ever, Nebraska in 1995, won their national championship, Indiana in 1995 was 2-9 that season. Their only 2 wins over Western Michigan and Southern Miss. In 2002, when Ohio State beat Miami for a national championship, Indiana 3-9 that season. And in 2011, when Alabama beat LSU for their national championship, Indiana 1-11. This is a bottom of the barrel, absolute dweller of a college football program that now just went 16-0, undefeated, beat Alabama by 35, absolutely drubbed Oregon in the Peach Bowl, and then took care of business and beat Miami 27-21 to win a national championship. I think all of that in the big picture, Jake, easily makes the argument that this is one of the best teams ever. Throw out the average age of the roster, throw out the 6-year seniors. Quite frankly, I don't care. They executed week in and week out. They finished undefeated in their national champs.
Yeah, and something different than all these probably, I don't have the list in front of me, but all these other teams that went on to win national championships and had all these great players and this combination of great talent, right? There was a ton of 5 stars, ton of 4 stars, and just on this roster, you just don't see that, man. You just see football players,
castaways. I know,
man. I just, when I was watching this game, watching Indiana from that perspective, I just saw like a third string preseason NFL game, right? Late in the fourth quarter, you just have all these thrown together, just football players coming together. And man, they're good. They're buying into the program. I think Cignetti doesn't get enough credit for his talent evaluation process, being able to put pieces together and say, hey, and maybe you didn't fit in doing that or that specific task that they were asking you to do in that system, but you come play for me. And in this system, we figure it out. And Cignetti, what he's doing up there, it's not there's a lot of similarities with the Saban tree and the Saban way of doing things, but man, they're not on the field for as long. The meetings aren't as long, man. These coaches are able to go home. They're not trapped in their offices. It is just different. And I am so eager to see, as things progress, what kind of disciples Cignetti makes, and if that way of doing things infiltrates college football as a whole.
Yeah, but I think to your point, it takes a specific process and game plan, which Cignetti clearly has, to be able to execute it. I was not aware, they talked about it on the broadcast Monday night, about what he essentially did with Indiana's incumbent roster. I mean, he got rid of a lot of those guys. He told essentially all the wide receivers, you're not going to fit in here. Go find a new home. However, Charlie Becker, I do like you. I think I can find a spot for you. And that clearly worked out.
But he was a special teams guy for the whole first half of the season.
And Mark Cuban, give him a lot of credit. I mean, he got his flowers, Peach Bowl, and national championship game. He clearly used some of his massive bank account to help fund their NIL efforts.
Is that I don't know, just gosh, not that I do it all, but like put yourself in those guys' shoes for just a second, with money to burn and money to throw. Is that enough for your 10 seconds of TV time and your name being thrown around? Just is it enough, right, to keep you doing it year in and year out of just throwing money into college football programs?
I would say that him as an Indiana alum And in 2 years, I would say he got his return on that investment. Now, will he keep doing it? I do not know. But again, think about it, dude. They are one of the worst college football teams in the history of the game, and they just won a national championship. He's getting a lot of credit for it. I'm sure there's other alumni. They have a great business school. They have the largest living alumni base in the country. This is only going to help them get more NIL dollars, I think. So congrats to Indiana. Absolutely unbelievable.
Congrats.
National champions. Yeah. It's just incredible. It really is incredible what they were able to accomplish. Now we need to talk about the other quarterback, Carson Beck. My favorite, right? Obviously, last night I thought Herbstreit and Fowler did a pretty good job at the onset of the game, kind of backtracking a little bit of what they said during the Fiesta Bowl redemption story. Guy didn't love football anymore. Herbstreit was quick to say in Monday night's game, hey, listen, this guy's a winner. I mean, he was a part of 2 national championship teams. He led Georgia to an SEC championship a year ago. He wins a majority of the games he plays in. It's not like he's some downtrodden guy off his luck who's just trying to get an opportunity to build back up. Yes, of course, the injury happened, but Beck's had a really good season.
So what you're saying is Kirk definitely heard your rant here on the Punt Pass
100%. 100%. No question about it. However, Carson Beck throws an interception late in the fourth quarter to essentially end the game, and some statistics started matriculating around social media that caught everybody's attention, and I was very quick to send them to you this morning. This first statistic is quite frankly mind-blowing. Carson Beck lost just 6 games in his college career. In 4 of those 6 games, on the final offensive play, it was a Carson Beck interception with a chance to win the game. Now, think about just the dynamics of a football game. In order to have the opportunity to win a game and then lose that game on an interception 4 out of 6 times, that's just hard to do. You could hardly draw that opportunity up. And it's something that kind of, I think a lot of Georgia fans were probably watching the game Monday night saying, here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. And sure enough, it was an underthrown deep ball. I thought it was extremely reminiscent of the underthrown deep ball in the back corner of the end zone last year in Tuscaloosa that ended the game for the Georgia Bulldogs in their comeback effort against the Alabama Crimson Tide. But let's drill in a little bit closer, Jake. Miami's 3 losses this year. SMU, they lost by 3. Carson Beck threw an interception in overtime. They lose the game. Louisville, they lost by 3. Carson Beck threw an interception at the end of the game to end it. And then, of course, Monday night, they lose to Indiana by 6 points. Carson Beck throws an interception at the end of the game to pretty much allow Indiana to get into victory formation near the goal line and become national champions. That's just hard to do. So Carson Beck throws the interception. It was also very well known that he did not shake hands with anybody after the game. He walked straight into the locker room with his chaperone or usher or whatever you want to call him.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
I didn't like that either. Like that. He's had an amazing college career. Yes, it did not end the way that he wanted to, but Mark Fletcher, he went out, sought after Fernando Mendoza, dapped him up. Mark Fletcher also took a swing at somebody. I don't know what was said, but Scott Van Pelt showed it on ESPN. He's like, we got to show everybody this. I mean, he took a swing at one of the Indiana players.
I was on Twitter, and poor Holly Rowe, because she tweets out, like, great job, Mark Fletcher, for going and seeing Fernando Mendoza. Maybe a subtweet towards Carson, probably not, knowing Holly, but and then just minutes later starts throwing punches towards Indiana guys. I mean, that's just utterly crazy. But you were talking, may not have been last week's podcast, but definitely before, but of just the odds and the percentages of being a quarterback and making it to 3 national championships. And then when you're going through your kind of scenario of throwing interceptions on last drives, like what's the odds and the percentage?
With a chance to win. It's
with
not
a chance to win.
A Hail Mary. Exactly.
Yeah.
With a chance to win. I don't know the odds. I guess I could punch it into ChatGPT or Grok and try to figure it out. But that, to me, I think Graham Coffey from Dog Central said it. He was like, this statistic is mind-blowing given the game play that has to set up for those opportunities to present themselves. And, one of the things that I ask you every week as a former quarterback and really kind of analyzing the play of these guys, one thing that always comes up is Carson Beck is not a good deep ball thrower. He just isn't for whatever reason. I was shocked that Miami wasn't taking more deep shots when they couldn't get much going. I thought they got good enough skill position players, try to get Malachi Toney in space, send him on a deep ball, maybe scheme something up to at least get something downfield, get a chunk play to switch the momentum. They could never get that going, and that was kind of shocking to me.
Yeah. To kind of assess what happened there on the last play, they had a trips to the boundary. They were and Carson was essentially throwing a go ball to the field. I think he thought it was quarters across the board, and then safety flies over to play cloud there towards the field there last minute. And then the corner just sank. He didn't have any immediate threat to the flat, so he is taught in that scenario to keep sinking, and he did. Made an excellent play, ball underthrown a little bit. So that's kind of how and why that happened. I don't know read wise or what was said in the meetings to kind of take him to take that shot. Then again, if it's quarters and he likes this one-on-one matchup, generally speaking, that's pretty good. Not thinking that the safety can get over there in time, but I think it's a great segue for me to also say that Malachi Toney is an excellent football player.
He's a stud.
Man, if he can stay healthy, he's going to have a very, very long NFL career.
Only a freshman too.
Man, just get this guy the ball and he will make stuff happen. He's going to break tackles. His yards after catch is just absolutely ridiculous. And I'm thinking, man, Drew must be going absolutely nuts right now watching this game because Indiana, the punter, just kept out kicking his coverage and giving him opportunities to take this ball back. Man, it was only a matter of time, I thought, before he was going to break one open. But great football player. I don't know, man. Miami had some good football players too. I'm just glad I don't have to watch Michael Irvin beat up a cooler with a belt after this one. So
yeah, he was kind of subdued last night. Obviously, he was out there as a honorary captain for Miami. Adewale Ogunleye, who was a hell of an NFL player, he was the honorary captain on Indiana side. I saw this also. I don't know if it's been corroborated, but it comes from Graham Coffey at Dog Central. So going back to that Ohio State-Miami national championship game in 2002, a very controversial ending. Some people call it a phantom pass interference call. The flag was thrown way, way, way late. And of course, it allowed Ohio State to beat one of the best teams of all time, that 2001 Miami team. Sharp for Indiana, who intercepted that ball last night to end the game, supposedly is the nephew of Glenn Sharp, who was the Miami DB in that game who got flagged for the pass interference. Sharp for Indiana was a Miami native. They said that on the broadcast, so that obviously checks out. But think about that. The nephew of the Miami DB who was called for that phantom PI, which lost them a national championship, was playing for Indiana, secures an interception at the end of the game to beat Miami and win a national championship for the Hoosiers. So, wow.
That's kind of crazy. A little poetic justice maybe for that family, but that's kind of crazy. What are the odds, the coincidences?
There are no coincidences. There are no coincidences. You know that. Come on now.
That's right.
It's crazy.
Of course.
Absolutely crazy. Hey, this episode of Punt Pass presented to you by our awesome partners over at Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code PUNT when you put your first $5 entry. You get $50 instantly into your account. Win or lose, Prize Picks is the best daily fantasy platform in the world. Longtime partners of the Punt and Pass podcast. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code PUNT. All you have to do is pick two or more players, predict that they will go more or less than their stat projection, and watch the winnings roll in. So many sports still rocking and rolling as we enter kind of the dog days of sports offseason with the Super Bowl just a couple of weeks away. But Prize Picks has got it all right there for you. Download the Prize Picks app. Check them out on social media at Prize Picks. Football is all about game plans, and winning cases is no different. Humberto Injury Law builds a strategy tailored to each client, making sure nothing gets overlooked. Just like breaking down film, they study every angle to give you the best shot at success. Learn more at HumbertoInjuryLaw.com or call them 770-888-8901. Vegas was pretty spot on with their game projection as well. Indiana closed as a 7.5-point favorite. Of course, they only win the game by 6. So those who took Miami with the points were in good shape there. And how about the total? 46.5 points It lands at 48, so over bettors are happy with that one. Jake, it's just incredible how they're able to
how good they are.
Man.
How good they are just baffles me, almost scares me a little bit as well. Like, hey, what kind of pull do they actually have? Did the flag stay in the pocket a little bit more? I mean, you just never know. But man, it baffles me especially in these big time games, how close and dialed in they get to almost the actual number, man. They 6.5 or 6 to 7.5, and then just barely over on the points total. I mean, they're really good at their jobs. They're really good.
They are. I'm looking back at what our game projections were. I picked 38-24. So I was close. You picked 41-21. So you at least called the exact amount of points that Miami would score. We both miss on that, but we do get the winner correct. Both of us were on Indiana to beat Miami. Any chance Curt Cignetti listens to some of these NFL head coaching openings? Tom Brady was on the field last night. Mark Davis, the owner of the Raiders, was on the field last night. John Spytek, the general manager of the Las Vegas Raiders, they were all there. Obviously, they're watching Fernando Mendoza, who's the presumptive number 1 overall pick. I think Mendoza will be very fine as an NFL quarterback. Some people call him like a less athletic or athletic adjacent Matt Ryan. I think that checks out pretty well. I like his throwing mechanics. Jake, I think he can make all the throws. He shows you that he's at least mobile enough to extend plays. But Curt Cignetti, I think his processes could transfer to the NFL. And why wouldn't you take that jump if you're the Raiders? Say, come on in here, pick your quarterback, do what you did at do what you did at Indiana right here in Las Vegas for the Raiders.
Yeah, everything that I'm hearing on the process stuff and the way they do things at Indiana really, to me, is more of an NFL type model than a college football type model. So, man, if I'm him, why not, man? You got to cook while the iron's hot. Either go and get your extension, listen to some of these NFL offers. You never know. I think he is a really good talent evaluator. As far as the X's and O's, I don't know. Just from my take in this game specifically, I thought the game management stuff maybe could have been a little better. That may be a little bit of a hot take. I guess I have a pretty high standard, come from, being on the Lions is my last trip. And I just game management stuff. I thought there was nobody better. And so, but I think you got to at least listen to it, man. Some of these there's a lot of job openings out there and a couple really good ones. So.
Absolutely. I totally agree. All right, I'm going to bounce around a little bit here as we wrap up this episode, this final in-season episode of Punt Pass. And Jake, I got a lot of feedback from some folks on social media when we kind of crowdsourced an idea of maybe doing a weekly or once every 2 weeks interview series in the offseason. People loved it. They wanted us to do it. So we will get on that and start trying to make that happen. Give us a week or two. We'll be back. We're going to take a little bit of a break. We will be back. I promise you. Jake and I are going to reach out to some of our contacts, get into the Rolodex, and see who we could bring on to make sure that we continue providing entertainment for everybody out there on Punt and Pass. Duke is suing Darian Mensah. We talked about Mensah potentially jumping into the transfer portal after he signed an NIL deal, made an announcement that he'll be returning to Duke. It was reported that Miami's hot and heavy on him. It's breaking news. Duke is suing quarterback Darian Mensah to keep him at Duke. They're arguing he signed an NIL deal and must stay. This case does have far-reaching implications for college sports. It's one where Mensah will have defense attorneys. So that will be highly interesting. Not sure how it's going to shake out, but you're starting to see the lawsuits kind of start picking up. Georgia got into some litigation against Damon Wilson when he had transferred to Missouri, trying to look for some back pay. So we'll keep a close eye on that one as the offseason officially gets underway. And then I do want to give credit. Nick Cellini, who's on radio here in Atlanta, I thought, made a great argument today. And it had to do with Carson Beck. We're gonna get back to Carson Beck. Okay. He was kind of jumping on late, albeit, to, hey, what's going on with the redemption story arc of Carson Beck and this guy who's getting all this love from his PR team and all these articles that came out. And Cellini said, look, if you want to pay me $4 million and allow me to drive a Lambo and I go 13-1 and lose a game and then declare for the NFL draft and then say, oh, wait, I'm not going to go to the NFL draft. I'm actually going to go to Miami and make $4 to $5 million more dollars. Like, have at it. You can say whatever you want about me, but don't give me the sob story of this kid, fought adversity to get where he is. And Cellini made the parallel to a certain other quarterback, which I'd never really thought about. Overcoming adversity is Stetson Bennett, okay? Overcoming adversity 100% is the story of Stetson Bennett, a walk-on quarterback at Georgia, running scout team, getting you guys prepared for the Rose Bowl against Oklahoma, then going to junior college, playing at a high level in JUCO, coming back to Georgia, and by just complete butterfly effect, having the opportunity to get put into some football games, then performing at an all-time high level, then winning a national championship at Georgia for the first time in 40 years. And then what happened after that national championship? Well, Georgia tried to recruit right over him. Let's go get Caleb Williams. Let's get Stetson Bennett out of here. Nope, Stetson Bennett stays. Then what does he do? He goes out and has an undefeated season, wins another national championship. It was consistent adversity for Stetson Bennett. All he ever did was overcome it to get to where he got as a college football player. Two-time national champion, Heisman finalist. From where he started, that is a true redemption story. That is overcoming adversity. So I thought that was a good argument that we needed to bring up here.
Yeah, completely agree. And then, folks will forget in 2020 and in 2021, they were doing all they could for Stet not to play, right? They brought in JT Daniels, to start over Stet. Like Stet was the last resort, and he got thrown in there and he kept making plays, and all of a sudden, man, this team is onto something. So 100% agree.
Yes.
That is the adversity story that people 100%.
There's no question about it. The other adversity story, just
pre-NIL era, come on.
Of course. The other adversity story is the general football program of Indiana. I just gave you all the statistics of how bad they've been for all these years. Kurt Sidnetti comes in, essentially says, goodbye roster, I'm bringing my guys in, and they just went 16-0. It's crazy to think that their perfect season hinged on that back of the end zone catch against Penn State. Go watch it. It's all over social media right now. That dude is floating in midair, somehow, some way, gets his back toe in the field of play. It's ruled a catch. They beat Penn State. They remain undefeated, and they're national champs. That is overcoming adversity when you are a loser program, and now you're the undefeated national champ. So, you could juxtapose those storylines as much as you want, but when you talk about adversity, that's exactly the definition of it. So congrats to Indiana. Congrats to Stetson Bennett as well. And Carson Beck, guess what? You will go to the NFL. You'll be a mid-round pick. You'll probably get a couple of years. We all know how hard that is. I'm not taking anything away from you. I'm not knocking your talent or your ability whatsoever. It's just hard. And if he gets to the right fit, hopefully he has a long career. I'm rooting for him. I am rooting for him.
Okay. All right. I didn't feel. I mean, it doesn't feel like you are.
I promise you.
I didn't believe what you said.
But I've always said that. I don't dislike the guy. I'm just very confused over the narratives that
the narrative part is crazy. I cannot wait to finally turn this page and get this conversation over. Rusty had a hilarious tweet kind of before the game. He said Carson Beck was miserable at UGA and Indiana has no 5 stars. Please kick this game off. He's just tired of listening to it, right?
Yeah.
Rusty off the top rope. Was on fire on Twitter pregame. So ready to be done with this for sure and move on. And man, like college football is going to keep evolving. It's going to be interesting to see, which teams emerge that we never thought had a chance. How good will LSU be? Can Georgia get back on track? And I say get back on track, man. They had an excellent football season, but can they build on it with this young group and this young roster that they have? What's going on with Ohio State, man? There's a lot of guys that left Ohio State, especially in the receiver room. it's gonna be an interesting college football season, and of course the narratives will keep getting thrown around, and man, but that's what makes it fun, and hopefully we haven't lost this great game that we love, right?
I
This
know.
college football. Like, hopefully it doesn't become this quasi NFL G League product, and we lose what we love about it, man. All these great adversity stories and these storylines and rural America, coming out to win. And I don't know. Hopefully we still have that.
What did you think about the national championship game being so late this year, January 19th, the Monday after the divisional round of the playoffs? Like, was it too long of a wait? Was it too long between the semifinals and the national championship game? I ask you what your thoughts are in regards to that, because are you aware of what the date is of next year's national championship?
Yeah, I saw it like January 25th or something.
Yes, dude. Yes, I mean, a whole extra week to wait.
Yeah, this is too much. I agree, man. I think the culmination of college football needs to be around the New Year's mark, right? You can have the Final Four on New Year's and then have that national championship game, 7 to 10 days later. I think that's the sweet spot that we need to get to for the flow of college football, for the coaches, for the players, for the transfer portal, for class. Everybody forgets about class. I know we talked about it on the previous podcast about Carson not going to class, but man, it's just we need some fixing, coach, and we need some fixers out there, and we need some people to put their foot down.
Some accountability for decision makers.
And Big Ten's talking about expanding.
Oh my God, I know, dude.
The 24. SEC's like, no, 16 at the most, but we do like this 12-team product. Cap it at 16. I don't think more is better. I think 12, 16, gosh, no more than 16. You can make the argument here because Miami was the last team in. They got to the national championship. If Miami happened to have won, I think that gives expanding it a lot more momentum. But you have to be careful about devaluing the impact of the regular season. And that's what makes college football fun, is because every week matters. You don't get these 9 and 8 teams who win their division and get into the playoffs, right? Nobody wants that, right? I think that's what separates college football from NFL football, man, is the every single week matters, and we want the best of the best. We want the cream of the crop.
All right. Well, we've got 221 days, Jake. 221 days until the 2026 college football season kicks off. That date is August 29th. 2026. So we will continue to keep Punt and Pass rocking and rolling once a week, once every 2 weeks. We'll get some great guests on. Jake and I have talked about this. We want to continue providing Punt and Pass Nation with some entertaining content throughout the offseason. It's been an awesome season. Awesome season. Thank you so much to all of our partners: Prize Picks, Humberto Injury Law, Solomon Brothers Jewelers, Backer, Mura Golf. Without you, we can't do it. So thank you so much to our awesome producer, Jared Rowland from Odyssey, a total stud. He helps us put these up on YouTube and on the podcast feeds that you listen to. So thank you so much, Jared. It has been just incredible. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code PUNT. First $5 entry gets you $50 into your account instantly. We have been proud to be the first ever podcast partner of Prize Picks, which is just an absolute behemoth now. So thank you to Prize Picks. Check them out at Prize Picks on social media. And remember, Humberto Injury Law is your first call when accidents happen. Don't wait. Visit HumbertoInjuryLaw.com today. Humberto Injury Law, protecting people, fighting for justice, winning results. That's HumbertoInjuryLaw.com. Or call them 24/7. They're right here in Atlanta, 770-888-8901. Thank you so much to mi amigo Humberto. Jake, anything on the way out, my man?
Yeah, man, it's always bittersweet when it ends. Man, it was a great run, a great ride this year. Man, already excited about next year. Thank you to all of our listeners. And I think I can speak for both of us. We're super excited to provide some excellent content, man, this spring. I'm pretty excited about it, pretty pumped, and I'm going to miss you guys, but I guess we'll see you guys pretty shortly and pretty soon. So let's get after it, Drew.
Absolutely. Start thinking of some awesome guests to bring on. If you guys got some requests, hit us up on
Please send
social
them.
media at Punt and Pass, at Drew Butler, at From Jake, puntandpass.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great rest of the week. Stay warm, and we will talk to you soon. See ya.
We out.